My name is Lisa, and I'll be your safari guide for today. Just to keep your animals as you get rolling here, please no eating, drinking, or tobacco use while on the train. You may, however, have water. Children under 3 must be seated securely in the lap of an adult, and most importantly, please remember to remain seated and to keep all parts of your body and all belongings inside the car at all times. Now that that's out of the way, let's begin our safari. The word safari is Swahili, meaning long journey, and our journey will be taking us through various African habitats. Our first habitat is the rainforest. Specifically the Ituri rainforest found in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. It's the only place in the entire world where our first animal lives. If you look all the way back and over to the right, you're going to spot a large dark brown animal with white stripes across its hindquarters and front legs. That's one of our okapi. Although okapi do have stripes that look very similar to a zebra's, they're not related. The okapi is the only living cousin to the giraffe. When we pass through the second half of our rainforest habitat, if you look back and to the left, you'll spot a second okapi. You can see the resemblance of the giraffe in her sloping hindquarters and the shape of her head. Okapi and giraffe also both have prehensile tongues, or grasping tongues, that can pull leaves off of trees. An okapi's tongue can be as long as 14 inches, and they'll also use them to clean out their eyes, ears, and nose. The okapi is actually a very shy animal. It was one of the last large mammals to be discovered by Western scientists. They weren't officially named a species until 1901. Once brought into captivity, it took nearly 30 years before okapi were successfully bred. Today, however, the Dallas Zoo is one of the leading okapi breeders in the entire world. Rainforest now descend into the mountains. As we do keep your eyes up, these animals are climbers. As you come along towards the center, if you look up and over these logs, you're going to spot one of our female Nubian ibex. Nubian ibex are a kind of African mountain goat, so just like the normal goats, we do call them kids. Those kids can run just as fast as their parents, but only a few hours old. If you look up there, you're also going to spot one of our male Nubian ibex. The males have much larger horns. Each of those horns can eventually grow to weigh 20 pounds.
It's cold. Hey, Bob!
Into our woodland habitat. And when we think of Africa, we tend to think of those wide open savannas, but about 40% of the continent is actually wooded. If you look in the front center of our woodland, you'll spot several replica termite mounds. Just to the right of them, we're also going to spot a large giant antelope. This is one of our common elands. As we move along towards the right, we get a better look. You have a second one in the far right. Now there are common eland and there are giant eland, but they're about the same size. The eland are the largest of the antelope found in Africa, reaching up to about 2,000 pounds. Now despite their size, they are incredible jumpers. They can jump a distance of 10 feet. Once we have exited our woodland habitat, we're going to pass in front of some rocks where lizards like to hang out. See if you can spot any of them. and prey animals. But next, we'll take a look at a predator. Look up along the back of the wall for that tan-colored cat known as a caracal. The word caracal derives from a Turkish word meaning black ears. And if you take a look at the ears, you can see why they call them that. You might also notice those tufts of fur on the ends of those ears. Because of that, they are sometimes called the African lynx. However, the caracal is much more closely related to another African cat, the serval. Caracals and servals are jumping cats, and the caracal can leap up to 8 feet in the air. They can catch a low-flying bird right out of flight. If you listen closely, you'll be able to hear our next habitat before you see it. We are now entering into our river habitat. Now up at the top of the waterfall, if you look on the bank opposite us, you're going to spot some small ducks with white faces. These are white-faced whistling ducks. They are unable to quack, so instead they whistle. As we wind a little further down our river, we'll take a look at our white pelican. Straight back now is the tall gray bird that is a family crane and national bird of South Africa. On the opposite side of the river, we also have two tall birds. One is a Goliath heron, it's got that russet colored head. And between the white and black one is a European stork. Although they're called European storks, they spend most of their time in Africa. They just migrate back to Europe for their breeding season, where they return to the same nest every single year. A dark bird with white feathers along its neck and chest walking along over here. We'll see some more of them on the other side of this waterfall. On the opposite bank down here, you're going to spot several more of those dark birds. Those are white-breasted cormorants. Cormorants are diving birds. They are very well adapted to their diving lifestyle. Their feet are set further back on their body than most birds, and they have much denser bones than many other birds, which helps them to reach those depths. Cormorants are such good fishermen that some human fishermen have actually trained them to catch fish for them. As we come over this clearing, look all the way down in the back beneath the trees for those reddish-brown antelope. Over to the right, you might also spot a shaggy brown antelope. The brown antelope is a water buck, and those reddish ones are East African bongo. The bongo is the largest of the forest antelopes found in Africa. The shape of their horns helps them as they run through the trees. Unfortunately, those have also been their downfall. The East African bongo is hunted nearly to extinction. There are thought to be as few as 100 of them left in the wild, making them critically endangered. Now the next animal that we'll talk talk about is also endangered, but it lives in a very different part of Africa. We're going to leave our river now and journey instead into the desert. First, we'll take a look at the arid desert, more like the Sahara of Africa. It gets less than 10 inches of rain a year. Here we'll spot some tall white and brown antelope known as Azure gazelle or Dama gazelle. They are the tallest of all the true gazelle species, and as I said, they are endangered. To the far right, we're going to see some larger antelope with long, straight horns. Those are gemsbok. Gemsbok are very fast runners, running about as fast as a horse can. They're also very well able to defend themselves with those horns, even against large predators like lions. After the arid desert, we will move into the semi-arid desert, more like the Kalahari of Africa. Here we're going to spot some white antelope with spiral horns known as addax. The addax's white coat helps it to reflect the hot desert sun. They can go for their entire lives without taking a drink of water. Instead, they get all the moisture they need from the plants that they eat. Now we're also going to spot a couple of animals that look similar to the donkey. Those are a wild cousin to the donkey, the Somali wild ass. Now they're rolling around in the dirt in order to help prevent insects from biting them. Over to the right, we have three mammoths, the world's largest bird species. The one with the black feathers is the male. These are our ostriches. Now male ostriches sit on the nest at night, so their black feathers help them to blend in the dark. In our next habitat, look towards the back center and all the way over to the left, the two large dark birds. You might also spot a gray and brown bird just in front of the train. If it walks out a little more. That gray and brown bird is a quarry bustard, the heaviest bird in the world that can still fly. And those vultures are lappet-based vultures. They are scavengers just like other vultures, so their diet consists primarily of carrion, or dead, rotting meat. Although that sounds really gross to us, it's very important in keeping ecosystems healthy. Without vultures and other animals like them, think about all the gross things that would be lying around. Here at the Dallas Zoo, we were the first to successfully breed lappet-based vultures in captivity. The animals in our next habitat can be difficult to spot, but I do need everybody to remain seated as we pass through here. There are two warthogs that live here. They are twin brothers named Teddy and Toby that were born at the Dallas Zoo in 2011. If you'd like to get a better look at a warthog, you can head over to the giants of the savanna and visit their mother. Next we will enter our most populated habitat, the bush. As we enter right in front of us, we're going to see three kinds of antelope. The one over to the left with the black stripe down its side is a Thompson's gazelle. The larger ones are greater kudu. The male is towards the center here. He's got the big spiral horns. The ones with the long, graceful necks are Garanok. The word Garanok is a Somali word meaning giraffe neck. You might also spot a couple of tall birds with white bellies and bluish gray backs. Those are marabou storks. All the way in the back, you might have spotted that big black bird with a reddish-orange face at the back left. That is a southern flying hornbill. Just to the right of it is a yellow-backed diker. The diker is a kind of antelope that eats meat. Out to the far right of the habitat, we do have an odd-looking tree. That's a replica baobab tree. The baobab tree is the largest kind of tree found in Africa. It's very important because it stores water. Gallons and gallons of water. The animals and sometimes the people of Africa depend on that water during the dry season. Some cultures have even nicknamed it the Tree of Life. And if you guys have seen The Lion King, that's the kind of tree that Rafiki lives in. Now we are currently descending into the steepest part of our safari. I'd like to remind everyone to please remain seated. I do need everybody to be seated either in a seat or on a lap. chimpanzee habitat. Chimps are apes, not monkeys, and the easy way to tell the difference is that monkeys have tails. If you take a look at our chimps, you'll see that they do not. Chimps are among the great apes, along with gorillas, orangutans, and bonobos. Car number 3, we need everybody in a team. Even if you're wearing a purple shirt. Thank you. Now chimps are very intelligent. Not only do they use tools, but they teach to use those tools to their young. So they actually have traditions. Different groups of chimps will use different kinds of tools and prefer to eat different kinds of food. Now we do have a young chimpanzee who's about 4 months old now, but I didn't spot him or his mother. As you descend, you might hear noise. We're going to be passing over a building that houses one of our retired birds. His name is Sebastian, and he can be a little bit grumpy, but he's entitled to it because he's the world's oldest living buff-crested bustard. As we continue to descend, we're going to take a look at some reptiles. See if you can spot all 3 of our Nile crocodiles. The Nile crocodile is the second largest species of crocodilian in the world. So it lengths up to 18 feet. Now there are absolutely no alligators in Africa, only crocodiles. If you want to see an alligator, you have to look at the American alligator or the Chinese alligator. And we actually have both in our reptile building. Now if you look back towards the pond in our next habitat, we've got 2 tall birds. As we swing around to the right, we should get another look at them. These are our wattled cranes. The wattled crane is the tallest of the crane species found in Africa. They can reach 5 feet and 5 inches in height. Like other cranes, they do mate for life, and those 2 are actually a bonded pair.
So we're leaving after this?
Now in just a moment, we're going to be passing over our gorilla building, which is where our gorillas spend their nights. If you'd like to see our gorillas, you can check them out down the gorilla trail. If you head down the gorilla trail, you can also revisit our chimpanzees, wattled cranes, Nile crocodiles, and okapis. Here at the Dallas Zoo, we have 7 western lowland gorillas. They're the most common kind of gorilla found in captivity. Like all gorillas, though, they are endangered in the wild. Animals become endangered for a lot of different reasons, but one of the biggest is habitat loss. There is so much that we can do to help out with that. Recycling is one thing that can make a huge impact. Just by coming out to the Dallas Zoo today, you guys have helped to support conservation. The Dallas Zoo and lots of other zoos like it work together to protect these animals and the habitats that they live in. Our monorail train is just beginning to pass over the entrance to our giants of the savanna. Or if you go and visit our Simmons Safari base camp, you'll be able to watch some videos about a couple of the conservation projects that the Dallas Zoo is involved in. One of those is the Tarangire Elephant Project. They are studying the migration paths that elephants take during the dry season to get to water. If we know exactly which land those elephants are using, we know exactly which land to protect. While you're over the giants of the savanna, you can also visit our elephants. We do have 5 African elephants. They are all female, which is just how they live in the wild. The females live together in herds, while the males tend to be more solitary. Across from us, we will spot our mandrill habitat. Unfortunately, the mandrills are a little difficult to see through the vegetation at this time of the year. However, you guys are going to walk right past them on your way out of the wilds of Africa today. When you do stop by, see if you can spot the newest member to their addition. The newest addition to their family is a 2-month-old baby. Next, we'll be getting a bird's eye view of our penguin habitat. The endangered birds that live down there are African black-footed penguins. They are native to the southern coast of Africa, where they live in a climate of somewhere around 50 to 95 degrees. Although it might seem odd to you that these are warm weather penguins, out of the approximately 19 penguin species, only 5 can tolerate cold weather. The cold weather penguins are just the ones that get the better movie deals. All penguins are found in the southern hemisphere, so south of the equator. That means those cold weather penguins hang out down near the South Pole. One thing that they don't have to worry about down there is polar bears, since polar bears live near the North Pole. We like to think of them as polar opposites. Across Across from us was not the last animals on our safari. Those large big birds are lesser flamingo. So named because they aren't quite as big or quite as bright in color as their greater flamingo cousins. Like all flamingos though, they do get their color from the food that they eat, which is typically blue-green algae. Across from us we can also see our wild encounter stage where every half an hour they bring out a different live animal for you guys to see. As we pull into the station, please remain seated until I open those doors behind you. I'll open them the moment we're at a complete and total stop. If you're on the front row, remember to take a step up. If you're on the back row, remember to take a step down. Again, my name is Lisa, and I'll be right up front if you have any questions at all. You're going to exit right on out past me. Thank you guys for supporting conservation, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day here today at the Dallas Zoo.